Alright, hello and welcome to the Inventory Podcast, week 2. What was it?
Week
For the
2.5.
week of the 3rd of February 2014. I'm
Yes.
James.
I'm Aidan. Hello.
And this week, again, like last week, we're going to tell you what we've been playing, some new releases, and some news that we found over the past week. We took the week out, so we did. We took last week out, trying to figure out some scheduling issues, trying to figure out what day we were going to record, what was going to be beneficial. So we took the week out, and to be honest, I feel like a bit of me has been missing.
Was that bit of you me?
And yeah, and to be honest, we're only on episode 2. And I
Oh.
felt lost not recording last week.
Well, that's good to hear.
It is
I was-
extremely good to hear.
I was drunk for most of last week, so I didn't really feel anything.
Pisshead.
Straight edge.
Yeah, well, what can you do?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get on to what we've been playing, and I think you are first up on this. So,
Yep.
Go ahead.
Well, I've been playing, because of what we were talking about last week, I've been playing Limbo. Went back to play it a bit.
Right? Okay.
I don't know what put me in the mood. I suppose it was... What was the game you were playing last week?
Contrast.
Contrast. I was thinking Perception there for some reason.
Right.
But I went back and played Limbo. Just to refresh my memory, because I was going to talk about it either way, but I decided I might as well play it again. For those who don't know, Limbo is a platform puzzler, with a very eerie and quite beautiful setting. Everything is black, grey, with wee tiny drops of white. And it's the most emo game you'll ever play in your life,
So
That's-
emo.
but it's fantastic.
It can't be as emo as Persona 4 when you shoot yourself in the head to summon stuff.
Well, I suppose, but yeah.
Right, go on.
But anyway, so yeah, it's a very, very dark game. There's some real elements of dark humor in it, and it can freak you out sometimes. In a way of, like, just unexpected shit coming at you. If you haven't seen anything about the game or any screenshots and you go in and playing blind like I did the first time, and I'm gonna spoil it for you now anyway, the first time you see a giant fucking spider come out of a cave at you,
Not
You're
much
gonna-
of a spoiler because it's in the first 5 minutes, but yeah, that I knew about that bit, so that wasn't as much as a surprise. But yeah, that bit's a pain in the ass.
And, well, it's your standard platform puzzler, really, with a bit of added gore, I suppose. And,
Yeah.
can be very challenging at times, particularly that electric reel cart bit. Still get
Yeah.
stuck at that.
And there's a bit at the end where you start messing with gravity switches,
Oh,
and that can also be a pain in the ass. That's the thing. It's a really short game. Again, like most of these like little indie games are quite short. This one's another really short one. Really, really brutal. What happens to this kid?
yeah.
Sometimes, I mean, this kid will get his head chopped off, get impaled by spikes, get eaten by spiders. I mean, some brutal, dark shit happens to this kid. But I mean, it's kind of nullified by the fact that it's in black and white. I don't think there's blood in it, or even like a
There-
silhouette of blood. I don't remember.
I think there is, actually.
It's been a long time since I played this game, but I remember it's a really good game. Really, really difficult at some points.
Yeah, you will get stuck, and there's quite a few parts where it is the first time you do it, you're not going to guess it. It's trial and error at a lot of times, but it is really rewarding and really fun to play through.
It is.
There's not so much. Well, I don't know what you would expect from what we've explained so far, but there's not much of a story to it, so much as the whole time you're trying to figure out what's going on and where you are.
And
But it's-
hence the name of the game, you're in
In
Limbo.
Limbo!
Yes, you were in Limbo. There really isn't much of a story at all. As far as I know, I think it's something like you're looking for your sister, and there's a car crash. I don't really know the whole thing, to be honest with you, but the whole thing is that you're stuck in Limbo, oddly enough, and that's the story. That's it.
But I think it's won a few awards, hasn't it? I think.
I don't actually know, to be honest with you. And it's on pretty much everything at this point.
Yes, it was on. It's on PSN. I think it's on PS3,
Yeah,
possibly Vita.
I don't know about Vita, but it's definitely on PS3 because that's what I played it on.
It's definitely on PC. It's on Steam, which is where I played it this time. I played it on PS3 before. There's no difference between the two platforms. I
Yeah, and it's on
don't.
Xbox as well.
Is it on Xbox? I wouldn't know.
I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. It probably is. Gorgeous wee indie title and really fun.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much it is at the minute, but definitely if you can get it for I'd say under a fiver, if you can get it for under a fiver, definitely grab it.
I'd say you could. I wouldn't say it'd be more than a fiver, to be honest.
And
At least probably.
I'm pretty sure as well. It's got a demo as well, so if it sounds interesting to you, you can try it out.
Yeah. I think
I,
the demo is possibly free on PSN, but I might be wrong.
yeah, it must be because I think that's what I played the demo on there. But there's definitely demos of it, so you can go try it out. So if it sounds interesting, you go try it out. I recommend it. I think it's a nice little game, especially if you can get it cheap enough when it's on Steam as well. You can pretty much get it for pennies. So if you can get it for that cheap, like I definitely say go for it. Why not?
Yeah, and for such a short and small, and especially in its own genre, the platform puzzlers, which aren't usually too pick up replayable, it has got an awful lot of replay value, and it not so much for the I need to go back and experience this all again, but it's just really fun and addicting, so you'll want to play it again and again.
And for the collectors out there, it's got little collectible. I forget what they call it in this game, but they've got little collectibles, and they've got a nice little feature for. They've got chapter selects as well. So if you know where a collectible is and you want to go back to the chapter because you missed it, you can go do that. And I think the checkpoints are really they're spaced kind of close, so it's not like my collectibles at the end of like an hour-long chapter. It's like they're pretty close together, so you can go back, get collectibles, do all that. I don't know what the collectibles do, but you can get them as well.
And the whole game itself is pretty seamless. Like, in between chapters, you won't even notice you're going between chapters. It'll just be walking all. You can play it in one sitting and not even notice how far you've progressed in it.
Yeah.
It's. I can't say it enough. It's a really, really fun game.
Pretty much the only way you can tell is the backdrop will change. You'll be going from a forest, and then you'll be in a cave, and then you'll be in like some hotel looking thing with the hotel sign that's busted back into a cave. Like that's pretty much the only way you can really tell the difference. Other than that, yeah, it's pretty seamless from area to area. So, yeah, that's really all I can say about it. It's a really good game though, especially for how much it's going for at the minute. It's quite old as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's dirt cheap at this point.
Everything's dirt cheap on Steam. Like.
Oh yeah, on Steam everything's dirt cheap, except Payday 2, which I really want to buy. But
I think the Americans are getting Payday 2 on PS Plus this month.
They are, and I bought it on PlayStation, but I gotta get. It's one of those games you gotta play on PC. It really is, but
I think so.
That's for a different day. Again, but Limbo, really good game though. Really good game. Can't recommend it enough. So if you see it for cheap, go get it. Definitely go get it. I know it's been in a few Humble Bundles, I'm pretty sure. And it's normally
has, that's where I picked it up.
And it's normally on the Steam sales, like the summer and the winter sale, so you can check that out. Check out the demo, like we said, if it sounds interesting to you. But definitely, really good game.
Yeah, so what have you been playing then?
Right, so my first game of the week, which I was debating if I even wanted to include this, but here we go. My first PS4 game. My first one. It came with the PS4, like I mentioned last week when we recorded, but Killzone Shadowfall. Okay. So this is, I believe, the fourth installment in the Killzone series. There was one on the PS2, two on the PS3. There's a bunch of mobile games, but I don't really count them. And then this is the first one on PS4, an exclusive launch title. So, basically, the Killzone series is always been a series I've enjoyed it. I think it's alright. The first one I wasn't a huge fan of. The first one just had that really old ghetto console FPS feel to it, which, not the greatest feel to it. The second and third one I loved. I thought the second and third ones were fantastic. So, Killzone Shadowfall, first one on the PS4. I am about, I think I've just started the 7th chapter in the game, and I think there's only about 10 in the entire game, so I think I'm kind of close to the end. I have no idea though. Those last chapters, especially in Killzone games, I've noticed is the last chapters in Killzone games are always a bitch and a half, and sometimes they're extremely boring. Like Killzone 3, I hated the last chapter in Killzone 3, but that's not what we're talking about. So Killzone Shadowfall is something different than the other ones. In the other three games, you are part of the ISA. I forget what it stands for, but it's pretty much the military, the space marines of Killzone versus the Helghan, which are the enemy. I think they're alien race, or they're like, I don't know, something up with them. So, and they're from a different planet. So you're the ISA, and you're going against them. That's what the other three games are about. This game is something different. This game is you are a shadow marshal, which is kind of, from what I've gathered, is kind of like their version of the special forces, kind of like an assassin type thing. So you're playing the Shadow Marshal now, and I think it's the bit that you're playing is set 30 years after the end of Killzone 3.
Mm-hmm.
So you're coming straight in from that. Vector, which is the human planet, has been divided into two because the Helghans have moved in. I'm not going to say why, but they've moved in. So it's like half Helghan, new Helghan, and half Vector. And you're pretty much being a rogue in the middle of all that. You're being a special agent pretty much for that. And so far, I've got to say, I'm not too thrilled about it.
Really?
I've got to say, I think the second one I enjoyed. The third one I absolutely loved, other than the final chapter. The final chapter I didn't really enjoy. But I gotta say, Shadowfall, for me, so far, has been kind of disappointing. It looks beautiful. I will say that. If there's like a trademark of the Killzone series, is that it looks goddamn beautiful. And as my first like PS4, like, I don't know, disc-based game, it looks goddamn-tastic. I will say that.
This is your first full title for your PS4, isn't it?
Yes, first one. The rest of them were downloadable. This is the first full one. And it was honestly a game I was really going to look over, because it was only because it came with the bundle with the PS4 that I actually got it. So it gave me the opportunity to play this game. But I gotta say, I'm really not enjoying it. And the reason why is because in the other Killzones, like I said, you're part of the ISA, you're a space marine, and you feel clunky. You feel big.
Yeah.
Like, I guess you could say like Gears of War, where you feel big.
Yeah.
And in Killzone 1, 2, and 3, that made sense. Because you're supposed to be this big space marine. But the problem is that in Killzone 3, you're supposed to be like this, like, fast-moving assassin special forces. Like, you're watching cutscenes, you have these people like zipping around, jumping from platform to platform, knifing people. But you still feel clunky. Like, you'll be wanting to play it like you're a Shadow Marshal, wanting to go around and, like, stab people and do all this, but it just doesn't work. Because you still have this old feeling. Like, to me, I just wish that, like, you were either still the Space Marine that felt clunky and it made sense, or, you know, rework the engine pretty much and make it so you do move around a lot, like, faster. So, that's annoyed me. There are some bits in the game where you're supposed to be stealthy as well, and the stealth, to me, doesn't seem to work half the time. Like, you'll get spotted from behind a rock, which won't really make sense, and the AI in this game is absolutely hilarious. There's a bit where you can knock out the wall to rescue hostages. And I don't know if there's a faster way to do this, but the way I did it is you can basically, you know, press the right stick down, you know, whack it, like, shoulder the wall like in every other game. And you can, like, chip away at this wall. And when it comes crashing down, it makes a huge bang sound. The enemies don't hear this. But if you go out of prone, take a step, they hear it. And I just thought that was hilarious. They can't hear a wall crumbling down, but they can hear you taking one step standing up. That amused the life out of me.
So, is this is this supposed to be Killzone 4, or is it just a tie-in title?
See, I don't really follow, like, the whole Killzone type thing. Like, I play them, but I don't really follow them as much.
Yeah.
As far as I know, I think it's supposed to be Killzone 4, because it's supposed to be set, obviously, right after Killzone 3.
Yeah.
So, I'm assuming it's supposed to be Killzone 4, but they've obviously gone a different direction from the older ones.
Are you playing the same I take it you're not playing the same character? Is
No.
it one character throughout the other three? / rest
The
of them.
the first one you could play 4 different characters. You played as one character where you could unlock multiple characters to go through the story with as you progressed. The second and third one you played as Sev. That was the same character, and I really enjoyed him. I thought had a lot of character. This third one sounds... I don't know, he's just... I don't know, I can't really get into the whole thing. And you've got, like, this guy who's... I think he's the voice of the commander from Mass Effect as well. So that's all I can think about is him there. And it seems after every chapter you go back to his little office, and then he gives you the debriefing, and then you go out. That's every mission. You go to him, he tells you what to do, you piss off. And that's pretty much every single thing. Like, it doesn't seem to be as... Like you were saying about Limbo, it doesn't seem to be as fluid between going from one place to another, because you're going back for the briefing.
Yeah.
Whereas in the older Killzones, you would just go from place to place to place to place. So and I didn't mind that.
So this feels more like, here, do this. Here, have a load of exposition. Go do this now. Here, have some more exposition. Go do this now.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it feels like to me. Like, I don't know. Some cool things, so some cool things, because I'm not going to be all negative about it. I haven't played the multiplayer yet. The multiplayer could be really good, so I mean, I might come back and mention how the multiplayer is, but I haven't even touched the multiplayer yet, because I'm one of those guys who likes to try and finish the single player first, and then go into multiplayer. So, they've added some different things, because, so like I said, the first 3 are like just your standard console FPS. You've got your main buttons. For this one, for the first, I think, few chapters, I don't know what happens after, you get a thing called an owl. And it's basically a little drone you bring with you. And on the PS4 controller, you've got the little swipe pad.
Yeah. And
you can swipe it in 4 different directions, and there's like attack, zipline, stun, and I forget what the other one is. Shield. You can have him shield damage for you. So, that's really cool, the little owl thing. They've got, like, a little, echo system that you can hold down on the right D-pad, and it, like, gives you, like, a sonar radar everywhere. So you can see enemies that are popping around. But, I don't know, they've got some cool things in this game, but just so far, I'm not too thrilled about it, really. Which is really disappointing for my first PS4 game.
Are you able to get the disc in and out of the system, though?
Yes, I think I figured that out finally. After, like, half an hour, like, banging it with a baseball bat, pouring drinks on it, I finally figured it out.
I'm never going to let you forget you couldn't turn the thing on or get discs in. I don't blame you.
And I'm sure when people listen to the podcast, they're not going to let me live that down either.
Yeah, it almost makes me want to buy a PS4 just to prove to you how easy it is.
But yeah, I mean... That's really all I can say. I'm probably gonna beat Killzone, to be honest, because it's my only game on the PS4, so I'm gonna go and finish it, or at least try to. But yeah, I mean, so far I'm not too sold on it. I mean, we'll see if I do beat it. If it changes, I'll come back and I'll say, no, forget what I said. It ends up being really good, but so far I'm not really sold on it. Especially the single player. The multiplayer could be fantastic. I'm not going to doubt that. And I think this might be a game where people are buying it for the multiplayer, which I haven't tried yet. So that's a disclaimer. Don't know what the multiplayer is like yet, but so far in the single player as compared to the rest of the series, I'm not digging it.
So right now it's would you say it's rent if you follow the series, otherwise it's void?
I mean, I can't really say, because it's like, if you want to treat this as a multiplayer game, then I would say, probably should get it. If you're doing it for single player, then yes, I would definitely say, rent it if you're a fan of the series. If you don't like Killzone, then no, don't bother.
If you want to get into Killzone, start somewhere else.
Yeah, definitely. I would say start with 2. I mean, you really don't need to play 1. Just play 2 and 3, and you'll be fine.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, I've been playing something else this week as well.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah, I have. Just following on my trend of playing batshit crazy games, I've been playing Runner 2.
And that's the Bit.Trip runner game, isn't it?
What?
Bit.Trip?
Yeah, Bit.Trip, yeah. It is fucking crazy. I love that game.
See, I love that you've actually played this game. I absolutely adore this game. First time I played it was at QCon last year. I played the first one, and I didn't even know there was a second one until I saw it at QCon. And I gotta say, that this game is absolutely... I love it. And the soundtrack. Holy shit, the soundtrack.
Dude, even just that, the first intro cutscene with all the other Bit.Trip characters and the voiceover that sounds an awful lot like the voiceover from Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
That just sold it to me instantly. I had to play that game more and more. But for those that don't know, Runner is, well, it says it all in the title. It's not an endless runner like your Temple Run, but you can't stop running. It's another sort of platform puzzler, really. I suppose you would say
it's a rhythm game. You're jumping with the beat, pretty much.
That's true. Yeah, it is a rhythm game, and it took me actually a few levels to figure out if I jumped with the rhythm of the music, it would be a lot easier. Which for a musician is probably a bit silly to say, but you know, and there's nothing much to say besides the fact that it is batshit crazy and a whole lot of fun. Really, it's the complete opposite to Limbo. It's really colourful, really fast.
Yeah.
But just as addictive.
Yeah.
You'll get, even from the start, you get to levels that will take you forever to complete, and you'll maybe miss one pickup in it, and you'll be like, fuck this, gotta do it again.
You gotta get pickup.
Gotta get all the pickups. Because of course it's got side levels and stuff that you can't access until you get a certain amount of pickups, and you unlock different costumes and stuff, so you need to be going back over and over every level after you complete it to make sure you get every pickup, and when you pick up all the gold in the level, you get a special end bonus mini game where you have to shoot yourself out of a cannon onto a dartboard and try and get the bullseye. I've gone through levels over and over again just to get the damn bullseye.
Oh yeah, totally. You can't leave without the bullseye. That'd be stupid.
That would be idiocy at its highest level. But I mean, this is another highly recommended for me.
My god, yeah. I mean, I can't recommend Bit.Trip Runner 2 enough. And I mentioned it earlier, but I gotta say, this soundtrack of this game is one of the few games that I've actually wanted to go and buy the soundtrack for. The menu music for this game, I could listen on repeat for hours on end because it's just so cheery, and I'm a sucker for like hooks. I will listen to anything if it's got a nice hook on it, and this has a hook in it, and I could honestly listen to this thing for hours. If you've played the first one, which I have as well, and I beat it, it's slightly different than the first one. The core mechanics are exactly the same. You know, you're jumping, you're kicking, you're bouncing, you're doing all that kind of crap. The difference really comes in the art style. The first one was a lot of 8-bit. It looked 8-bit. The music was 8-bit. Everything about it was like that classic 8-bit 2D platformer type thing. This one, as said, you know, fuck that. We're going super colorful and looking absolutely beautiful while we're doing it and having some great music going in it. It's not all 8-bit. It's just nice little... I don't even know how you could describe the music. It's just really laid back with some like really hooky elements into it. So the music in this game is fantastic.
Oh, and I love the concept for it. I think I got this right when you're saying you've been trapped within a certain spectrum of light, and you're trying to escape. That's just batshit insane already.
Yeah.
That explains why it's so colorful and stuff, because you're stuck in light.
Yeah, I mean. And they've got little Easter eggs in there as well, like they've got Slender hidden in some of the worlds.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's a great game. I don't know how much it's going for. I don't remember, but again, this is a game that's on pretty much every platform ever now. So I mean, there's no reason not to play this. I can't recommend this game enough. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And grab the soundtrack, damn it.
And you played this on the Wii U, didn't you, at QCon?
I did, yeah.
What is the touchpad integrated?
I actually don't remember. I mean, it's been that long since I played on the Wii U. I don't actually remember. I think the Wii U pad is basically just used as a second screen.
Ah, right.
I think that's pretty much how, if I remember correctly, that's how it was used. But I played the demo on the PS4. I mean, not PS4, the PS3, and it's solid. And I bought it on PC from Steam because it was like dirt cheap, and it came with a character pack which included like the guy from Psychonauts, I think Peabody from Portal 2, and just some other fun little things. So again, it's on everything. And like I just said, there's a demo on PS3, and I don't know if it's on PC, but it's on PS3. Again, I feel bad for the Xbox guys out there because we never mention them, but we can't really say anything because we don't have an Xbox. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming there's a demo on the Xbox. So I mean, seriously, even if it doesn't sound interesting to you, even if you think, oh, it's just a stupid platform rhythm game, seriously, try it. Just try it. It is a fantastic game.
At worst, you'll have a really cool soundtrack to listen to as you play through
I know. I mean, even if you don't like the game, hell, just buy the soundtrack.
it.
I mean, if you don't like the game, you're wrong.
Oh, so
But-
wrong.
But you know, go buy the soundtrack and enjoy it. I mean, it's a great game. Now I can't say enough about it.
And I am just going to check up now to see if the Wii U pad is integrated. Because if it is, I would definitely suggest using that if you've got a Wii U. Because it'll give you a reason to play the damn thing besides Zelda.
Besides Zelda, I mean, there are some other games. I mean, I've got a Wii U as well, so I mean, I'm gonna look to probably see and play some of them and talk about them for the podcast. I'm not gonna spoil which games. I'm not putting a date on when I'm doing that. So I will hopefully talk about the Wii U soon. But we'll see what happens. Am I just killing time here while you Google this?
No,
Oh, okay.
I'm paying full attention. But let's move on because I don't think there's much more we can say besides the fact that it's batshit crazy, really fun, really colourful, bliss to the ears, and highly recommended.
Yeah,
Again.
definitely. Yeah, definitely.
I seem to
From
only
both
play,
of us.
the past while I've only been playing good games, which is kind of cool.
I know. And the same for me. Killzone's been alright, but other than that, it's been the same for me. So, are we ready to move on?
Yeah, you go with what you teased last week.
Right, okay. Nice little transition there. Like he just mentioned, I was teasing a PC game that I've been playing for the past few months, and Aidan said that if he guessed it right, then I'd have to say it. He guessed it wrong. So I've kept it a secret. Even in the show notes, I've just put it down as my mystery PC game. So no one knows what this game is yet. So, what was it you guessed as well? I think DayZ or Rust was one of them too?
I was thinking it was DayZ because it had come out with their standalone beta. Because originally DayZ was a mod, I believe.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe you'd been playing the mod and moved on to the beta and you wanted to talk about that, but I was wrong.
Yes. So, as punishment, I kept this game a secret. So, without further ado, the PC game I've been playing for the last few months, if I can... God, I can't even get the words, I'm so excited. Smite.
Smite. Oh! I've seen this,
Smite.
but I haven't seen it.
Right, so what Smite is a MOBA, which stands for Massive Online Battle Arena, similar to, I guess right now, Dota and League of Legends, but it does something different. With them two games, it's top-down, clickety-clackety. This one is a third-person, over-the-shoulder, MOBA. And it's all skill shot as well. It's not clicking somewhere and having it just do it itself. You're skill shotting everything, pretty much. So,
Sounds good.
that's what sets it apart from I guess the other two big dogs in the MOBA, is that it's third person and everything's a skill shot. This game is absolutely fantastic, and I'm gonna say I love MOBAs. I love being able to play them casually. I will say that. I mean, I like playing Dota. Didn't really get into League that much, but I mean, so far I've been playing a lot of Smite. I love being able to play them. Especially if you can sit down with a few friends and just, dick about and play them. It's really fun. But if you can't get free friends, that brings me to my complaint. Not necessarily about the game, but about the community, and I will get to that later on. So, like I said, the thing that sets apart is that it's third-person, skill shot, MOBA. Another thing is that every single character in the game is from some sort of religion or mythology. Everyone in the game is a god, so they've got, Loki, Thor, Poseidon, Zeus, Xbalanque, Amir, all these other like gods from other religions, and they all have their roles. So they still have this the typical one, ADC. Figure the ability one. I forget what they call them in MOBA terms. I've just gone blank. ADC, the ability one, support and jungler, and except they've renamed them to you got the mage, your hunter, which is your ADC. You've got your support and your assassin, which is pretty much your jungler. So you still got all that type stuff. The jungle is pretty much what you expect it to be. Use it to set up ganks, use it for buffs, use it for all different kinds of stuff. And yeah, I mean, when it comes to a lot of MOBA terms, I'm not the greatest. I do really enjoy playing Smite though, and I will say that to me, all of the big three, because I consider Smite part of the big three along with Dota and League. I think that Smite is by far the easiest one to get into. Cool. For me, I mean, I just think it's a lot easier to get into it, because obviously you just got the WASD keys and they go 1 to 4 for your spells, and then obviously you just aim. You're pretty much playing it like a third-person shooter, where you're playing it as a MOBA. So to me, it's a lot more user friendly to get into. So I would definitely recommend, anyone that wants to try out a MOBA, try out Smite. I cannot recommend it enough. It's still in beta as well. I should say this. It's still in beta. It gets released. It's been in beta for quite a while, actually. It gets fully released at the end of March, I think. So I'm definitely going to be mentioning it then. They've made a lot of strides into making this game look absolutely fantastic with the new update. They're still updating new gods. They're still making patches. They're still doing everything to make this game fantastic. As far as the game's concerned, I don't have a complaint.
So, give me a wee idea about how the gameplay works. Is it a case of you can spec up a god of your choosing, or do you work your way through and progressively get better and better gods? Or what way does it work?
Right, so when you get a new con, you get I think you get like 5 gods. I think it's about 5 or 10 gods you get out of loads of them.
Yeah.
So what you do is that with them gods, you play with them, or if you want to spend, I think, 21 quid, you get the all god pack. You get all of them unlocked from the start. So you get that. If you don't want to spend money, you just play through the gods you've got. After every game you play, you get favor, which is their in-game currency, and with favor you can unlock gods or different skins and stuff like that. So that's how you unlock gods later outside of the game. The gameplay itself, you pick your god, and then in there you get your starter items. You level up. I think the level cap's level 20, so you can level up your skills pretty much. I don't even know what to compare it to, but you pretty much you get your 4 skills. You level them up as you go up in the levels in that individual game. So your levels don't carry on, if you know what a MOBA is.
Yeah.
If you know like the whole gist of a MOBA, you start the game, you're level 1. You carry on that game, get to the level cap, you spec your god with, different items as you continue to go on and on and on. And then when the game's over, that's erased until the next game. And then you just do it over and over and over again.
That to me sounds like hell.
See, you'd think so, but it's a lot of fun. You would think it is hell, but to be honest, when you get good at the game, you're building up quite quick. You don't even really notice that you're that lower level, because the laning phase only lasts about 10 minutes or so. So that's 10 minutes that you're going to be low level, not really doing much. After that, it's pretty much, within obviously a strategy. I don't want to say you go for it, but that's pretty much what you do. You do at that point when the laning phase is over, you do what you can to help push it to victory. So games can really last anywhere from about 10 minutes to about, 45 minutes, really.
Cool. So then you wouldn't say it's like every time you pick up Pokemon starting a new game?
No.
It's much simpler than that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, these games can, I'd say a game would last 50 minutes tops.
Cool.
So, and then it just... And plus, you can change your god every single time. It's not like you're stuck with a god forever and ever and ever. I mean, you change your god every single time, and then you just go and play the game. It's pretty much like a game inside of itself. Like, if you picked an MMO up and then played it like that, it's pretty much like that. You get your character, level it up to the max, finish the game, and then redo it.
Cool. So
And then, obviously, you get masteries, which you can use to, again, go into, like, League play and unlock golden and legendary skins. I don't do League play because I don't like tryhards. And the level cap for your character, like, your profile that you use, I forget what your... I don't even know what it does. I think it just puts you in, like, a specific skill pool, is what your player level does.
cool.
And that level cap is 30, I think.
So are you expecting that to be reset whenever the beta finishes and the full title launches?
I don't know. I honestly don't know at this point. I can't say if they're going to reset it or not. I don't think they're going to, but by all means they could, for all I know.
See, that's one of the problems I do have with betas for MMOs and games of this sort, where you have people playing it and they put a lot of work into leveling up their characters and everything. And in the interest of fair play, which is totally true and a good reason to do it, everything gets wiped whenever everyone else is allowed to play, because you don't want people having an advantage first day and scaring people off. But then again, those people were the ones that wanted the game to begin with and started out and played it for months on end to level up their characters. So it's a tricky balance to keep. So what you really need with things like this is something to entice those players to keep playing after the beta, even if their stuff is wiped, which I assume you're going to get. I assume there'll be new gods added on launch, or the like. So, yeah.
I mean, it's with a MOBA, your player level pretty much is pretty much completely irrelevant. All it means is that if you're level 30, you're going to be with level 30s. If you're like level 20, you're going to be stuck between like levels 10 and 25, something like that. That's all it does. So I wouldn't really see them resetting your level, because as far as I know, if you played through the beta, you're level 30, then you're going to be stuck with level 30s. That's what I'd be assuming.
Well, that sounds fair enough. I assume the level cap will be increased after the beta as well.
Again, I don't really know, because I think for League of Legends, the level cap's only quite low as well.
Fair enough. I'm not a big MMO guy, so this isn't exactly my parcel.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, before Smite, I never really played a lot of MOBAs as well, because I heard horror stories about how horrible communities are in MOBA games. Which is one of my complaints.
Oh, yes, your complaint.
And it's not even about the game.
It's about the dickheads.
With MOBAs. So, for some reason, assholes are attracted to MOBAs like flies.
That explains why you're playing it.
Yeah, obviously. And I could kind of see why. I mean, obviously, if you're playing like Call of Duty or something, you die like 5 times. I mean, what's the worst that happens? You're in that game for like, 5 minutes and the game's over and then you go on. Obviously, you fuck up in a MOBA, your team is more than likely going to pay for it. The problem with that is that people get really fucking butthurt over it. And that's what's disappointing about it, is that people can't realize that it's a fucking game. People fuck up, move on. The problem with MOBAs, and I've noticed it a few times in Smite, only a few times, so I guess, that's a good thing, is that in Smite it doesn't happen nearly as much as I've had it in Dota and League of Legends. I've heard horror stories about that. But in Smite it hasn't really happened that much. But I mean, the problem is that for some reason, I'm not going to say most because I'm just generalizing, but some of the MOBA community can be fucking right dicks for literally no reason. And it's just, I don't understand it. I don't understand what is the benefit of acting like a complete and utter twat to someone who's like just joined the game. And you'll get this, you'll get MOBA players will make Smurf accounts, which, get to level 30, make a new account for whatever reason. And you'll obviously get new kids who will play this game, and then they'll just get shit-talked by these older guys for trying to learn the game, and it ruins it for everyone. So my main complaint about the game is just the fact that it's a MOBA, and the community are fucking dickheads.
I think it would be safe to say, though, with it being in beta now, that's when you're going to get the biggest concentration of those guys. You're going to get the biggest concentration of your hardcore gamers in the beta. By the time it goes to full launch and you have more casual gamers playing it, they're probably going to get drowned out in the swell of all the new players and such. So,
Or, what I'd hope is that, the tryhard dickheads fuck off and play League.
oh,
Like, there's two settings in Smite. There's League play, and there's casual play. If you're a tryhard prick, fuck off to League and leave the casual place alone.
oh,
Like, that would make the most sense to me. It's like, if you know that you're prone to being a dick, go to League and leave the casual crew alone. If you don't like casual people, stay out of the casual queue.
the
That
inventory,
would seem to make the most logical fucking sense to me, but obviously not.
the inventory podcast for casual gamers only.
Exactly. And me doing a review on this game is pretty bad, because like I said, I'm not the greatest at MOBAs and MOBA terminology. I can only tell you that as a MOBA, I find this extremely easy for new people to come into. Obviously, it's one of those games that it's easy to get into, it's extremely hard to master. I can say that. It would be so easy for you to get a group of friends and just, make your 5-man party, go into Smite, and, go dick around. You could easily go do that, and it'll still be extremely fun. For you to be really good at the game, though, obviously it's going to be harder, but you can still play the game and learn the basics. And if you want to learn the basics, they've got a stream up on twitch.tv, which is pretty much going 24/7. Cool. And they've got 2 different channels on YouTube, Smite Pro and Smite Game. So, and you've got tons of YouTubers doing videos on this, so you can learn how to play this game. I don't want people to play this game, get badmouthed, and then say the game is shit. The community can be dickheads, but if you want to play the game and this sounds interesting to you, by all means go play it. I by far think this is the best MOBA, and I really want people to go and enjoy it.
Cool. It sounds. I actually think I might pick this up.
You
Sounds
should.
like
It's totally free as well. It's totally free. I forget the website. In fact, I'm going to try and Google that and talk over me typing so that it doesn't come through in the podcast. I can't even find what the website is. Oh my god.
So they're trying to make the money from in-game purchases then.
Yeah, pretty much. And like I mentioned before, they do have a their all god pack, which is pretty much going to give you any god that's been released and any future god that will be released.
Sounds cool.
So they've got that. If you want to splash the cash and you want to save up your favor for skins or whatever, you can do that, and just you've got that. So I took that advantage because I really wanted to learn to play Smite with all the other gods, so I paid for that. The website is highresstudios.com/smite, and that'll bring you to their thing. You can just download it for there, and completely free. You do not have to spend a penny on this game to play it, unless you really want to.
Cool. So you're probably the worst person to ask, because you did buy the All God pack, but would you consider it much of a paywall? I mean, are you going to have to do an awful lot of in-game grinding to get those gods?
If you want to get all of them, oh yeah, you're going to have to play loads of games to get all of them, which is why if you didn't want to spend money on this game, you'd pretty much... They have a practice mode, which I think they should disable this option, which wasn't that great, but what you can do is if you have a god that's interesting, watch videos, watch streams, or you have a god that interests you, or you can try it in practice mode, do that. And then if you really like the god, you can go buy him for favor.
Cool.
You can easily go do that. So if you don't want to spend money on it, pretty much get the gods you're going to want to play with. But if you just want to play the game and enjoy everyone, then I would definitely just say, it's more worth buying the All God pack than they trying to grind for every single god, because that will take forever.
So that's what we've been playing.
Before we go, they've got a special thing going on. The All God pack is on sale right now. I don't know how long it's going to be on sale for. It's been on sale for a while, but I'm just want to say it's on sale right now for £20.99 pounds. So if you want to go grab it there. They've also got a thing where if you reach level 30 in this game before the game's release on March 25th, you get a special skin for one of the gods. And if you aren't an asshole and you want to play with me, my name is James Saves Lives on there. Feel free to add me and I will happily play with you if you're not an absolute twat.
And if I decide to pick it up and get hooked, I'll give you my tag next week.
There you go.
Oh, by the way, breaking news. The Wii U pad is not integrated in Runner 2.
Oh, well, there you go.
So get
Shocking.
it on something else then, because there's no point in getting the Wii U then.
Right. Anyway, what were we saying there before I gave you that? Oh yes, I guess we're on to new releases.
Yeah, and
All right.
And I'm looking at them all here, and I don't particularly know what I'm going to talk about here.
That's all right. These first two kind of tie in together. So coming out this week is Fable Anniversary, which is pretty much I think it's an HD remastering of Fable: The Lost Chapters. That's coming out on the 360. Along with Fable Anniversary is the Fable Trilogy, which features Fable Anniversary and the second and third game. That's also on the 360. I don't know if it's disc-based, to be honest. I've seen it's on Xbox Live. I have no clue if it's been released on disc, but if you love Fable, try it out.
I would assume if these were disc-based, knowing the Fable games, there's probably some really cool special edition with like some really cool case and book integration thing, because I have played maybe an hour of Fable 3 at a friend's house while I sat bored on their phone, and she had gotten the I suppose legendary pack or whatever it was called for it, and it was just amazing. It was like this special hard leather bound book, I'm assuming not real leather of course, with all the artwork in it, and then there's these secret drawers where you pull out the game case and a deck of cards and a special coin. So I think we probably would have heard about a special awesomeness if it was disc-based.
Yeah, but that's out. I think it's out Friday. Not too sure. I think it's out Friday though. So, I mean, I played a bit of. I think I played halfway through the first one. I beat the second one. The third one I never played because I sold my Xbox before. I think just as it was coming out, so I never played it. But I heard it was crap. But if you've never played Fable, I'd say definitely like try and pick this up if you can for the first one alone. The second one was pretty good as well. So I can't really say anything about the third one, but I'd say if you haven't played Fable, try out because the first two are great games.
We should maybe start including prices in these when we put it in the show notes, because
we won't.
Depending on the price, I would probably assume it's the better idea to go for Trilogy. If you're just jumping in and you're not sure whether or not you're going to like it, go for the Anniversary maybe. But if you think you're going to like it and Anniversary is included with Trilogy, you may as well go for it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, and if you've got the second and third game, just get Anniversary.
Yeah, of course.
It's completely depending on your situation, but I'd say try it Anniversary, because I don't imagine it being that much at this point, so definitely, I'd say, if you haven't played Fable, get it.
Don't be stupid. Use your common sense.
Yeah, pretty much. That's our motto here at the inventory. Use your common sense. Don't be stupid.
And don't be a tryhard either.
And don't be a dickhead in casual queue! Next up.
See, this is what was missing from the first episode. James Rage. I love James Rage.
See, if you want to be a dickhead and be a tryhard in casual queue, you'll get my rage because you are the scum of the earth. But anyway, next up after Fable is episode 2 of The Wolf Among Us. Smoke and Mirrors is coming out. I haven't played The Wolf Among Us yet. I would probably do what I did with The Walking Dead last season and wait until like it's either all out or until there's like one more episode to go and then buy it. Looks really interesting based on the Fable stories, and yeah, the second episode's out this week. It's on pretty much everything as well: iOS, Mac, Steam, PS3, Xbox. I think I said iOS already. It's on pretty much everything. It's gotten great reviews so far, but I mean, those Telltale guys so far, they seem to be hitting home run after home run with these last few games they've made.
That's cool. And on the subject of episodic games, I know you'll probably be interested. In my perusing for news this week, I found out that the new Walking Dead episode will be out pretty soon. So that's good to hear.
I never even played the first one. I watched my girlfriend play it. And then when you know what's going to happen, I know you can make slight changes, but when you know what's going to happen, the problem is that me and her would have made near enough the same decisions anyway, so it wouldn't have been any different for me to play it, but I enjoyed watching her play it. I gotta say it was quite fun. It looked like a good game, but I actually think I'm burnt out on The Walking Dead.
Wow. Didn't think I'd hear that from you.
I know. That being said, The Wolf Among Us looks great. I am hoping to play it soon, and if I do, you can guarantee I'm going to talk about it here. But yeah, the second episode is, I think they've got it spaced out, being released all over the course of a week. I think the console editions are out on Wednesday, I think. They've got it spaced out really weird, like Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. They've released some different versions of it, but I think the console edition's out Wednesday, and the PC and stuff is released Thursday. I could be wrong on that, but point is, it's going to be out this week, so look for that if you're a fan of the first episode.
Cool. And next we've got a hardware release, which is strange.
Which snuck up on us.
It did! I didn't even hear about it.
I heard about it. I didn't even realize it was coming out this soon, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we've got the PS Vita Slim coming out. Which...
Yeah.
Have you got a Vita?
I don't. I really wanted to get one.
See, I don't see myself getting a Vita, because I didn't get a PSP until about 6 months ago. And the only reason I got a PSP was to put on emulators and play all my Nintendo games that I already own, and therefore I'm not breaking any law.
Good. We don't support breaking the law here.
No. Give people your money. Even though they don't get any money for it anymore, because you're buying them second hand.
If you like game developers, buy their games. Don't be a pirate. You wouldn't steal a car.
I would download a car if I could.
You wouldn't download a car. But yes, the PS Vita Slim is out. I haven't bought a Vita yet, mostly for the same reason I didn't really want a PSP, and that there's really jack shit out for it. I mean, they've got a few games I'm really interested. I really, 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 really want to play the HD remix and Golden Edition of Persona 4. Really want to play that, but right now I don't really want to spend near 200 quid on a Persona 4 machine. So, something different about this. It's more smooth. The Vita used to have the black with the the silver linings around it. The Slim is completely all black, which looks really nice. More rounded, more smooth, so it looks really good. Apparently the thumbsticks have been changed around a bit. I don't know what the difference is, but that's been changed. The biggest idea, other than the fact that it's slimmer, the biggest difference seems to be that the screen has been changed.
Yeah, they've changed the screen. So
one of the big things I heard about the Vita was that the screen was absolutely beautiful. I forget which. I think it was OLED that they used.
Yes, it was.
I could be wrong.
Or this one could be OLED, I think.
Whichever one the good one is, that's what the Vita had.
Yeah.
And that was the main drawing point, is that it looked absolutely fantastic. The Slim, to tone down the price and everything of it, has taken out that screen and replaced it with a different screen. I feel horrible here because I can't remember. I actually think I've got it loaded up here, so I should be able to tell you in a second what it is. Yes, it switched from an OLED, which is on the original Vita, to the LCD display. Cool. So apparently that's not as good, but it turns down the price. But another thing it includes, I think, a 1 gigabyte internal storage, which is pretty much going to be used for your save files, really, than ever actually installing games. I mean, obviously with the Vita, you've got your external memory card that you can use for, downloading games if you really want to. The internal one's really going to be used for, obviously hardware updates and for your save profiles, which is pretty good. So that's really handy, actually. So that's pretty much the difference. There's a built-in memory, and the screen's different, and it's slightly slimmer. It looks really nice. If it's cheap, I don't actually have the price in front of me, but if it ends up being cheaper, I might actually try and pick one up this year.
Cool. Hopefully you get it by the time we go to Comic-Con or Q-Con so I can play it.
And I want to play Persona, goddammit. If anyone rich is listening to this podcast, have sympathy for me. I want to play Persona.
And I want a PS4.
There you go. Yeah, looks great. So, I mean, I don't know what the price difference is at the minute, but I'm sure with this coming out, it'll probably be cheap. It might be a little bit more, but with that being said, the Vita now will probably have a massive price drop.
Especially secondhand.
If you don't mind I think the battery life's better on in the Slim as well, so there is that. If you don't mind the differences we said and you don't mind the older one, then it'll probably be a lot cheaper now. So if you do want to grab a Vita for cheaper, then by all means go and do that.
Can I just make my case for someone buying me a PS4?
Go ahead.
This is an inventory podcast. Special announcement. If you're rich and you do want to buy me a PS4, please do, so I can prove to James how much of an idiot he is. Because he couldn't turn the damn thing on.
And we'll record it for YouTube.
I will record it for posterity. I will put it on anything. I will put it on the internet. I will put it on a CD. I'll put it on a DVD. I'll send it to people who want it. I will bring him. I will pay for him to come to my house when I turn it on the first time.
You know what? If we're ever in the same place with the PS4, we can make a video of you proving to me how easy it is to turn this thing on. Who knows? Maybe one day we'll get to the point where the inventory will be an actual video podcast, not an audio podcast with a video behind it. An actual video podcast, and we'll be side by side doing this.
We're gonna have to move into a house then, and I don't think you could deal with me 24/7.
Anyway, yeah, that's the new releases. Actually, not looking too bad.
No, it seems pretty fun. It's still that beginning of the year lull, I suppose.
Other than the Vita, which really snuck up on everyone.
Yeah, but no new games for it. It's just new hardware. So
as far as I know, yeah.
There's probably some special bundles coming out with it, but.
And for God's sake, Persona! You know, every time I go into... Sorry, I don't want to go on this rant here, but every time I go into game, they don't have Persona 4. Why the hell would you not have the only Vita game worth playing in stock? I mean, that's probably a lie. I mean, I've heard some of the other Vita games are quite good, like Uncharted, and I think Gravity Rush, I think that's what it's called, is apparently really good.
Turbo
For God's sake! Where's Persona?
It doesn't matter, you don't have a Vita anyway.
I want Persona!
What are you going to do, buy the game?
Again, Persona 4 soundtrack's really good. I actually got it sitting right in front of me from my PS2 copy. I've got the soundtrack for Persona 4 right in front of me.
So, do you just want to buy Persona and stare at the case while you save your pennies to get a Vita?
I might have to, you never know.
You might have to. Unless we do have one rich, insane listener who wants to give us a lot of money. I could also do with a Mac while I'm at it. Someone want to buy me a Mac?
Anyway, that's the news. That's not the news, that's the new releases.
And now we come to the news, which I am entitling the worst week in news I've ever had, because we could find...
I was looking for news yesterday, and I did not find... Actually, that's a lie. I've been looking for news the whole week, and there's been absolutely nothing. But apparently you've managed to find some stuff, so go ahead.
I found 3 stories that might be a tiny bit interesting. First one mainly because it's going to set me off on a bit of a fanboyism. But
that's alright, the next one's going to set me off in a completely different reason, but go ahead.
The Ouya has got a new model out in the US. I don't believe it's in Europe yet. It's a 16GB model with improved Wi-Fi. The reason I want an Ouya... Oh, and it's got a better joypad, which was the biggest problem with the first iteration. The joypad, the buttons would stick under the case and all, because you had to take the front panel of the case off to put the batteries in, which sounded really fucking stupid. You probably still have to do that, but it probably works a bit better now. But
right.
I've sort of, even though I don't have one, I've sort of become obsessed with these new micro consoles, these little Android machines. Because they seem like a lot of fun for basically the sort of games I've been playing recently, as you can see from what we were talking about earlier, like Limbo and Runner 2, these sort of small indie games, which are the exact market these consoles are based for. They're not based for cutting edge FPSs or anything like that. They're for fun games, sitting down, maybe playing a HD remix of something. I think Final Fantasy has a few HD remakes for these consoles, and they seem really fun. But the problem is, there's a strange thing where there's a good bit of competition for them. There's quite a few around, but nobody seems, at least in my experience and what I hear, nobody seems to really be buying them.
No, I mean, I see them in game a lot. Like, I see the posters for them, but I've never actually heard anyone say, like, oh, damn, I really want one of these.
Probably the only person you have heard say that was probably me.
Yeah, just now. That's the first time I've ever heard anyone say they want one.
I think I said I wanted one while the Ouya was on its Kickstarter campaign, but a normal broke student, I couldn't afford it, and I'm broke dole dosser, so you know. Um, but I really do want to pick up one of these things, and after this, hopefully the new iteration of this Ouya launches in Europe. I might, if I can get some cash together and get a job in time, I'd love to pick one up and see what it's like. Maybe get one second hand because cheaper. But yeah, and actually, again, the same reason I bought the PSP. A lot of them you can sideload games onto, which means they can be modded very easily, which means you can run emulators on it to play the games you already own, of course.
Yes.
But yeah, they seem pretty fun. And actually, I think I mentioned this to you a few weeks ago. Mad Catz have a console coming out.
Christ.
And anyone who's ever owned any console ever and has had more than one friend has had a Mad Cat controller.
It's gonna be see-through.
They're normally see-through. They're normally like twice the size of the regular joypad. They're
with a 90-foot cable.
Yeah, they're always they're on that weird line between shit and brilliant. Like, you never use it when you're by yourself. You'll always use the you'll always use the original joypad. Although I tend to use my third-party PS3 joypad because I can never find the charging cable from a PS3 joypad. And it's my third-party one is the one I plug into my PC. But they always have, and it always seemed really gimmicky to me, but they always have a turbo button.
Yeah.
And I believe the only time I've ever used the turbo button was to cheat in the casino in Final Fantasy VII.
I used it in Metal Gear Solid during the torture scene. No foul. I don't care. I'm not button mashing shit. I've beat that game before legitly. I don't need to button mash shit now when I got a turbo controller. Except I didn't really get away. I didn't have a Mad Catz controller with a turbo button. I had the fight stick with a turbo controller. So I had to hook the fight stick up and go through the interrogation with a fight stick turbo button plugged in.
But yeah, so Mad Catz have one coming out. It may already be out. I don't know. I haven't been following it. But it seems pretty good, and they've got the NVIDIA 4 chipset in it, and they've access to the NVIDIA library as well, so there should be some really good games out for it, and it should run really smooth, and should be lovely and nice, and probably cheap as shit because it's a Mad Catz system. But it should be cool. And actually, this is going on another side, on another tangent. Do you remember the rumours whenever it first surfaced that Microsoft were working on a new console?
Yeah.
Do you remember they were saying the rumors were that they might just license out the software and then you could get third-party consoles?
Yeah.
That's something that would have been really cool, I think.
I don't know.
It's essentially
the thing with a new year is it's not something I was ever interested in, because it seems to be like if I wanted to play console games, I'd get the console, and if it is PC games, I'd do it on the PC. Like, it never a thought to like grab a new year. It's like I'll get a PC and I'll get a joypad for it. Like, it was never something I was particularly interested in getting.
You know what? I just figured out it is. If you want a Steam box, but you only play in the 2.5D games, get an Ouya, because you can plug it into your massive HD screen in your living room. You can play on a joypad, and it'll be loads of fun.
Well, there you go.
Check.
Can't afford the Steam box, get a new.
I can't afford a Steam box. Which is actually,
Ouya.
funny enough, Steam box is essentially what the rumours around the Xbox One were. They're just essentially licensing out what is essentially a consoleized PC, and different companies are making their versions of it.
Yeah.
So you never know, we might get a Mad Catz Steam box.
Oh, it's gonna be see-through with a 90-foot cable.
Just 90-foot HDMI cable.
Obviously. Anyway, this has been going on far too long. Oh, what's next?
Next this is what I've titled this, and news. WB 2K15 and NBA 2K15 are coming to Xbox One and PS4 later this year.
Whoop-de goddamn dude.
I don't know how this was. I was trolling for news, seeing if there was anything interesting about, and normally I wouldn't put this on here because, well, no shit, but I've put this on here because people are, well, it's not massive news, but it's actually been reported as news. Maybe it's just because this is shit news week for games. But why is this, like, could we not have just assumed that? I was pretty sure that was going to happen. I think the only thing that's news about this is that the current iterations of both those games aren't coming to the what is now current gen consoles.
Well, okay. I'm gonna have to try and hold myself back here from a rant, but all I know is that I don't think anyone's really surprised by this, but I think it might come to the point that we are in the first year of this now next current gen situation. So I think a lot of these developers have probably already started on like the PS3, Xbox 360, and won't even bother with the next gen. I mean, it could come to that. So I mean, I guess in that case, this would sort of be news in that it's confirming that it's definitely coming out. So I mean, that's nice. The only thing I know is that apparently the next gen version of NBA 2K14 was garbage because they ruined. Well, I don't know if they ruined, but I heard a lot of complaints about the best game mode in that game, which is My Career, and that they gave it a storyline and completely made your skill irrelevant.
Oh, so NBA 2K14 is on the now
Yes.
gen? Ah, fair enough.
Yeah.
So it's just WWE 2K15 that isn't then? Or is it?
Yeah, so I mean, I guess that's the real news is that NBA 2K. No, I mean WWE 2K14 was only on. It's not on next gen, so I guess that's the only new news is that that's coming out. To be honest, I mean, I don't know if we want to save WWE for another week or do this now. I mean, that's up to you. What do you think?
We'll delve into it a little bit. Just the tip.
Just the tip.
Just the tip.
Okay, so it's a different team now. It's not the old team that's doing WWE 2K15 as far as I know.
No, it's a different team. It was
It's
Activision before, was it?
THQ. and they got
THQ shut
and
down.
I think it's a completely new development team now. Or I think the last one was rushed because of the whole drama of THQ, so now they're actually gonna like do a new game properly. My point is that the last good wrestling game I played was Here Comes the Pain.
Really?
That was Here Comes the Pain was the last wrestling game I played that was absolutely fantastic. The rest of them since then have been meh. I mean, WWE 12 was alright. WWE 13 with its Attitude Era and some of its stuff was pretty
I
good.
really like that. I really did like the Attitude Era and that. I haven't played 2K14 yet because
See, I never played it either.
my brother got it in 360 and I was waiting for him to finish it before I went near it, so I haven't had a chance to. But
My problem with WWE 13 is that it made the current roster pretty much irrelevant.
yeah, that's one thing I did notice.
I would have liked if they had. I wanted the Attitude Era to be its own thing, and then still. I know Road to WrestleMania is normally shit, but I mean, have a Road to WrestleMania. Have some like the one thing I didn't understand. Right, they had this whole thing about CM Punk, the Revolution, WWE 13.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't even have a story mode.
No.
What was the point?
You know what? I actually know a bit about this. It was okay. I'm gonna get really fanboy on this, but here we go. Just as they were finishing up, WWE 13 was when CM Punk delivered his now infamous pipe bomb promo, and for non-wrestling fans, he came out and did this sort of what's called a work shoot, where he was breaking character and he was talking about the business as it really is, like predetermined and stuff, and people decide who wins and who becomes champion and that. But at the same time, as it turned out, he was faking, well, not faking the whole thing, but he was meant to do it. He was meant to do this just to put a bit of hype behind himself, and his contract was coming to an end in real life, and they were trying to get a lot of buzz around him going up for the title in a very again delving down into wrestling history, Shawn Michaels Bret Hart thing. When Bret Hart was leaving for WCW, he got screwed over because he didn't want to lose to Shawn Michaels in his hometown at Survivor Series. So Vince McMahon ran out and ended the match and declared Shawn Michaels the winner, and it became this whole thing. Bret Hart ended up punching out Vince McMahon backstage. So they were trying to do that again with CM Punk, and CM Punk was he came out and cut this promo, and everyone was like, holy shit, he did this, and they cut his mic halfway through and all to make it seem really legit, and like he was doing this out of character and he just stormed the stage or whatever. This went on for about a month. He had a title match in his hometown, Chicago, and they did the whole thing. They did a run-in, and they tried to end the match and declare John Cena the winner, but it ended up John Cena wouldn't allow that to happen. He went out clothesline John Laurinaitis before they rang the bell or anything. CM Punk, quotation marks, won the match, as he was always gonna, grabs the belt and runs through the crowd. And then for a couple of weeks, they played it up as no one knows what's happening. And after the second week, which was really fucking quick, they blew this off way too quick, they had a tournament where Rey Mysterio won the title at the beginning of Raw. And then, even though he didn't have to, which really annoyed me, on the same night as the main event, went up against John Cena for the title. John Cena wins, and then all of a sudden, in comes CM Punk with what was now his new theme tune, Cult of Personality by Living Colour. And the developers of the game, who I don't think were particularly big wrestling fans, it was really more of a project for them, sort of probably like it is for FIFA developers and other ones. They're just sort of, this is sort of a bread and butter title for them. They were watching at the time to get all the research right and all that, and they saw all this develop and CM Punk come out with that, and then they decided, this is the guy we need to push to get this, to make loads of money on this. And so 2 weeks before they were supposed to go gold, they changed all of Punk's stuff. They changed his music. They sort of branded him as the main character and all. So he was set as the poster boy for this game, despite the fact he isn't part of the game in any particular way.
Just the fact that he's on a roster spot.
Just that. It was just that there was so much hype about CM Punk. Everyone was loving him. He was the biggest thing in wrestling at the time. And then this company's sort of going under. We need to do whatever the fuck we can. Let's put him in the cover of the game. Do a whole ad campaign about him. And that'll push this game off the shelves. Which I believe.
And the ads were really good as well. I'm a massive CM Punk fan. I gotta admit, I absolutely love CM Punk and seeing them ads. Like I got hyped for the game. I'm not gonna lie. It sucked when you went into it. Like I assumed there was a road to WrestleMania as well, so I thought, oh fuck, we're gonna play CM Punk. This could be a story. No, no, it's just the Attitude Era, which is all right. But I mean, obviously you get these people that are psyched for the Attitude Era, and it was just that. I hope with WWE 15, I don't even know if there was a story mode or anything for 2K14.
No,
my main issue with the WWE games. My main issue with the WWE games is that they don't give you the roster. They do half of it as DLC.
Yeah.
Which to me is a fucking joke. Like, you spend 45 quid now, I guess, on these games, and they don't even give you half the fucking roster. Like, could you imagine if FIFA pulled that shit? You spend 45 quid on FIFA, and then, you gotta buy Manchester United for a $5. Like, what the fuck is that?
And that is the one thing that, if they did it right, would be perfect. If you started out the game with your full current roster, I know that between going gold and when the game launches, there's a lot of changes that happen in wrestling. People come, people go. Storylines change. People become bad guys, people become good guys, and that can't be changed after you've finished the game. Well, it could with a patch, but fuck that.
Yeah, why work for a good game?
What they need to do is, at the point of going gold, they need to have their full roster set out, and then after that, the DLC would be the Hall of Famers, the legends, the ECW guys, the WCW guys, the ECW arenas and stuff like that, and make your DLC money there. Because the people that are going to buy the DLC are the guys that want that stuff. And the people that are going to buy the game, pick up and play it, are the guys that are going to want to play with the current guys and do what's happening now.
The DLC should be extra.
Yeah.
The DLC should always be extra shit. If you want to go and play as Hulk Hogan, if you want to go and do Randy Savage, that can... I'd still be pissed off if it be DLC, but that would be acceptable. When you've got shit half the current fucking roster is DLC. I remember when they were advertising 2K14, and I'm sorry, I guess we're going to go into this rant this week. Fucking, we have an extra long podcast. My problem with the WWE games is that you'll have the wrestlers advertise it. And I actually saw this tweet that WWE Twitter retweeted from someone. I don't remember who it was. And they were like, don't worry that I'm not in the game. I'll be featured as DLC. I'll see you then. And to me, it was just like, what the actual fuck are they doing? If NHL did a game where the Pittsburgh Penguins were DLC, if FIFA did one with Manchester United as DLC, if fucking Madden had like the Denver Broncos as DLC, they'd never hear the fucking end of it. So why is it that these pricks can have half the goddamn roster as DLC and no one bats an eye to this?
Like, you can totally see it, as I said, with the way that WWE changes over time. If when they go gold, someone isn't there. Like, say Chris Jericho, he comes and goes every so often. And you would consider him as maybe more of a legendary character, normally. So, if you're playing the game, and 2 weeks before the game comes out, Y2J shows up in Raw, and he's back for a title run. If the only way to play as Chris Jericho is to get him as DLC, you would get it, because, well, the game's only out, and he was only back 2 weeks ago. The game's probably been finished a couple months. Of course, he wasn't in the game.
Yeah.
That's the way they need to utilize their DLC and stuff. They need to...
Exactly. That they need to use DLC to keep shit up to date.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they need to be doing. But they don't do it. I mean, when they've got... Like, I think one of the things I heard is that who was the Intercontinental Champion there for a while? Curtis Axel wasn't even in the fucking game.
No.
I don't think he's even still in the game. He's been in the company for how long? They had Michael McGillicuddy in the last game. It's the same fucking dude!
Patch him! Just patch him!
Does it really take you a year to change his fucking name?
Make his beard a tiny bit longer?
Exactly. It's not like he went over a Jurassic Lake, he got tattoos, and he changed his skin color. It's the same fucking dude with a slightly longer beard. Change his goddamn name and put him in the fucking game. He's not even DLC. The Intercontinental Champion wasn't DLC in a WWE game. What the fuck are they doing?
This whole thing brings me on to what I don't like about sports games. And I get it because they're big money spinners. But I don't want to buy the same game year after year after year for essentially what is an expansion pack and an update. What?
Yeah, but I guess that depends on what sport. I can see when people say that. I get it. I'm a hockey fan. I buy NHL every single year because the little things. And obviously, like, if you're a fan of any sport, you want them up to date rosters.
Mm.
Like, I get that. My problem is that when the people who are currently there aren't even in the game, they're not there. Like, that to me is the biggest joke. When they charge you 45 quid and then they give you the option to buy a season pass. And I think the season pass for WWE is 25 quid.
Mm.
So for 65 quid, you can get 3/4 of the fucking roster? Like, to me, that is a slap in the goddamn face that they can actually sit there and like, make you pay for this game. You don't even get the full, like, completely ignoring the fact if the game is good or not. You can make that argument if you hate the game or not. I personally think it's fun with friends, but as a game, I don't think it's fantastic. But when you charge that much money, I expect to see the roster in it. Either give us the full goddamn roster, update it with DLC that's cheap, or, do the season pass and say, we are keeping these rosters up to date as possible. Like, a weekly goddamn thing. I want this as part of the season pass. Don't charge me 40 quid for a half-finished game, then charge me 25 quid for, a few legends, a few new guys, and then not even include everyone. Like, I would expect for that much money a year that you can give me a full package, not half a package.
You know what I just thought of? You know what would be a really good feature for one of these games? A week-by-week update. And I'm just going by WWE because it's the one sitting in front of me and it's the one that I'm thinking of currently. Week by week, you keep the game itself the way it is, which I know annoys you a bit, but you can't really have the titles change around when you're not playing and stuff like that. So how about a game mode where you go in and play all the matches from that week's Raw and that week's SmackDown, that week's NXT, and you can do all the title changes and you get special things for doing everything right and doing the right finishes and stuff. I know that would take an awful lot of development, but there's got to be a way that you could just set up a framework for that. And then you set up, the developer just says, okay, these are the matches that happen this week. These are the finishes there. upload them, you download them and play through. That seems like something that would be really simple if you did it right, and it could be really fun.
And my response to that would be, Madden moments, hockey moments, FIFA moments, they all do that. Even if it's not every single match, they normally have at least one game a week with a moment that you have to match. Like, that shit that would work with WWE. It just seems that these developers for these wrestling games have gotten so goddamn lazy and so goddamn greedy that they're just like, you know what? We'll piss out the same fucking thing with no effort whatsoever. The biggest effort we have to do is a new cover, which The Rock on the cover? Are you fucking kidding me?
You know what really annoyed me about the cover this year at the WWE 14? They did a fan competition where you could design the alternate cover, which would be on the reverse of the sleeve. And for both markets that they did it for the US and the European market, Daniel Bryan won both markets. The one for the European market is shit. It's a 3-year-old picture of Daniel Bryan just standing there with his fist up. Whereas for the US one, it's a pretty much current one with him doing his signature fingers to the air and all this cool, like, misty stuff around him. He looks like he's fucking Goku or something. And it looks cool as shit. But I get my copy and I flip it around to some really shit photo of him when he was in NXT, holding his fist out like William Regal.
I'm just saying, if The Rock's on the cover of WWE, how long is like what? Tom Cruise on the cover of next year's?
I don't know. Well,
Bruce Willis on 2K16.
I'd say it'll probably be. Apparently, well, you're a bit of a TNA fan. You watch it now and then because it's free. Hulk Hogan and Sting are both away from the company, so Sting's probably going to be Hall of Famer this year. So they'll probably put him in the cover.
Oh my god. But that's pretty much, I mean, honestly, we could have a podcast that goes on for hours and hours and hours.
And I apologize
about wrestling.
I apologize to all non-wrestling fans for this last probably half an hour to 20 minutes, but I needed to get that shit off my chest.
And I needed to get this rant, and my rant is more of a hit at all game developers who do this shit. Do not fucking dare sell a game for 65 quid for not even a whole package. Don't you fucking dare do this shit where you're gonna charge us 45 quid a year and then 25 quid on top of that for some shit deal. You know, what was the DLC this year? Like a few divas and a DLC where you could change the wrestlers' shirts? Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Usually do these packages will release like 5 wrestlers at a time, and normally it's one that you really want and 5 guys that are on superstars every week, like Brutus Clay or someone you don't want to use, and someone that if they're in the game you would only use if you're playing against someone who doesn't play games, like you're playing with your kid nephew or something, and you say, all right, you pick John Cena, I'll pick Brutus Clay, I'm gonna beat you, roar.
I don't know, but I mean, that's what we think about. That's what I think about WWE anyway. I mean, they're extremely fun to play with friends, but I mean, until they sort this shit out with their DLC, I mean, 2K15 might be different. To get back on topic, 2K15 they might completely revamp the game, make it good, and then give us a full roster would be nice.
But I'd like to think to be working off something new, because I believe with the last game they were working off what THQ had been doing before that.
Yeah, and I think there was an interview where they basically said that 2K14 is pretty much what we had left after THQ, so I'm hoping that they are going to just redo the entire formula and like give us something new. I'm hoping anyway.
Because 2K are some of the best, pump out some of the best work you'll see. And the game, the last one looked fucking fantastic, and there was a lot less out of the box bugs than there was in the last iterations. I believe in 2K or in WWE 13, before the first 5 patches, the ring ropes were like fucking wet spaghetti. They would just bounce around, and your face would go 20 miles into the crowd if someone punched you. We've got to get off this topic quickly because we're losing.
We really do.
We're losing our one fan.
Anyway, That's WWE. NBA 2K15. I mean, they're normally quite good from what I've heard. I mean, if you're a fan of basketball, it's the best basketball game you're gonna get. I'm not a huge fan of basketball, but I mean, if you love basketball, you're stoked. You're fine.
And our last piece of possible news that I only barely researched because I was looking for anything and grasping at straws. Iwata, I believe that's how it's pronounced. I hope it is, because I don't want to be racially insensitive. Claims that Nintendo are now open to mergers and acquisitions. Acquisitions.
Right, okay.
And
what does that mean?
Right now, Nintendo are grasping at straws to get to get all the money they've lost back, because their sales projections for the Wii U and the 3DS were not even close to what they really did. They're trying to get money any way they can, and they're looking to buy up companies, and they say mergers, but apparently they're not really open to merging with anyone. Cause I don't see it being Nintendo/EA, but they might. I could very much see them buying up a smaller developer and taking all their properties and making some pretty cool games out of it. It could be cool. Odds are nothing will come of it, but yeah.
From what I heard, it's not that they're looking to branch out to other platforms. They're just looking to bring over developers to work with their IPs to put some stuff on their consoles, which, I mean, the Wii you could use desperately. I'm shocked at how bad the reports are for the 3DS. So I thought the 3DS was fine. I know the Wii U's in some dire fucking straits right now.
I think their biggest mistake was probably the 2DS. They probably thought that bringing out the 2DS they would sell a shitload more than they did.
I heard that was a legal issue though, because it was some copyright issue they ran into with the 3DS. They now owe someone like a percentage of every 3DS sold. So I heard that was what sparked the 2DS, is because the 3DS there was a copyright issue, I believe. There was something like that. So for every 3DS to sell, they have to pay a percentage of it to some guy. I forget the main details about that. So from what I've heard, that's kind of what sparked the 2DS coming around, is that, you know, you get these games for the 3DS, you get the games for the normal DS, but they don't have to pay a percentage from it.
Fair enough.
If that's true or not, I don't know, but that's what I heard about the whole thing.
And so a bit of Nintendo news that I skipped over earlier. Nintendo or Pokemon Banks is finally available in Europe. After
no idea what the hell that is.
Neither do I. I think it's sort of like a mobile. I think it's possibly an app or some out-of-game way of managing all the Pokemon in your PC boxes.
Christ.
So I haven't played the new Pokemon games. I haven't played the past few generations because I think I got a 3DS at launch. Well, pretty close to launch, just because Diamond and Pearl were coming out. That might have been an awful lot further. And for the remake of Mario 64, the only reasons I got that console, and possibly the only games I've bought in it, I think. That's the last generation of Pokemon I've played, and yeah, so I can't really comment on Pokemon Banks, but for those of you that know what it is and you're in Europe, you can use it now.
Yeah, I'm sure they're absolutely for real.
I'm sure they probably already know by the time this gets uploaded.
Right, so that's really it for news. Oh, right as I remember this, last time we recorded this, I said that Hearthstone was going into open beta in the US only.
Yes.
That's wrong.
Is it?
It's now open in Europe as well, apparently.
Was it from the start or is it just now?
I think it was like a day after.
Fair enough.
Or some
I
shit.
think most of the news I read it was US only, but so.
Apparently it snuck out, so it's open beta in oh my god, in the EU. Apparently it's an open beta right now. So if you live in the EU, you want to try it out, go. Let us know if it is an open beta. I mean, I'm probably going to try and play it within the next few days. So who knows? Maybe I'll talk about it next week if I can actually play it.
We're really screwed if anyone in Australia listens to this, because we just skim over the US. We're European Central here. This is sort of biased, but, you know, fuck them.
We work with what we're given. We work with, the Europe base because we live in Northern Ireland, and then we work with PlayStation and PC because that's what we've got. We can only do so much. And we're broke as fuck, so we can't review new
We
games.
barely skim US, and we don't talk about Australia at all. Although, then again, they get most of their games censored anyway.
Yeah. It's alright. I know Australians, we feel for you.
We love you.
We do. Much love. Anyway, that might be us for the week. After having a rant on WWE for about half an hour, I think that's us.
I apologize for that rant again.
It was bound to happen. It was
going to happen at some time. I need to get this.
Thankfully, we got it out of the way in week 2.
At least I'm not ranting about what's going on in WWE now, because that.
Oh Christ! No, I'm going to cut you off right now before we even get into this. Anyway, that's the show for the week. Remember to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe on YouTube if you like what you hear, and leave a comment down below with any feedback. We look forward to hearing from you.
Yay!
That's all for now, so we will see you guys next week.
See you later.
Bye!
Bye!